Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. By the thumbnail, I'm sure you realize that I'm having fun with this. It's my 1970 Keystone mini bike. And if you haven't heard of those, you can't be faulted for that. It's a pretty rare bike. They were made in Canada. And a very interesting little bike. I found this one on Craigslist. It didn't look like this, of course, when I found it. It was dirty. No spark plug in the cylinder. The engine was full of water and frozen. And so I bought it anyway, not realizing how hard it would be to find some of the parts for this, especially the motor. And took it home, broke it all down, sent the various pieces off for powder coating, the fenders, wheels, frame, and I reupholstered the seat. And the fuel tank was also cleaned and powder coated. And so I started working on the motor. I was able to get the head off, and of course the piston inside was frozen. This is a TAS Tanaka BK3. You can see there it says TAS motor. This engine was used in motorized rickshaws in Japan back in the day. And these little mini bikes were built from about 1968 when they were introduced until 1971. They were assembled in Canada. And if you realize, back in the day, I'm old enough to remember that many different companies were building mini bikes because it was the golden era of motorcycles and mini bikes between, say, 1968 and 1972. And every company in the world was cranking out mini bikes because everybody was fascinated with things. For instance, if you look at this green typical lawnmower mini bike, this was made by the HPE Muskin Corporation, which was a swimming pool parts manufacturer and wholesaler. They sold valves and pipe fittings and all kinds of swimming pool parts. They made these. It's a part of the Cat series of mini bikes. That's a 69 Cat 250X, 2.5 horsepower. And they were all competing against bikes like this. My 1969 Honda QA50, all original. And they were competing against bikes like this, a 1970 Honda Trail 70. So, and of course Z50s, but it was an offering that was different. It had this motor that revved to the moon. This thing was called the Keystone 6500 Gravel Spitter, and that's because the engine would rev to 10,000 RPM. And it actually has a clutch, but it has no transmission. And so you think, well, why would that be? And in order to start this mini bike, you would have to have some sort of a neutral. And so what they did was rather ingenious. They put on the clutch lever, you see here, there's this little dog right here. There's, you know, a little thing that locks the lever open. And so you can pull it back and it will hold the clutch while you pull start it. And then, of course, you rev it to the moon and release the clutch, and off you go. You've only got the one speed, no transmission. When I got this bike, it did not have a pull starter. These pull starts are rarer than hen's teeth. You cannot find these anywhere. And as you can see, I'm missing the chain guard and kickstand. That's the only two parts I'm missing on this. But I was online looking for parts, and there was a guy who had a pull start for sale on there. He said, here's the holy grail, guys, $400. And somebody bought it instantly. And he had other things available, like cables, carburetors. He had all kinds of things, little things for this. So I bought some stuff from him, and we got to talking. And it turned out he was a big Keystone fan back in the day. And when they went out of business, he went to all the different places that sold these, and he bought up all the parts he could find, you know, including chains and cables and controls and everything. And he was restoring some other old bikes, and I had some parts he needed, so I sent him a carburetor, a seat, you know, some various things for like a Honda 55. And he said, I'll send you something back in the mail. And so I waited, and he said, okay, here's a box, here's a tracking number, let me know when you get it. So this box arrives, and I opened it up, and it was this pull starter. I could not believe he gave me that. And you know, I've sent him things, but nothing that equals the rarity and value of that. We've since become really good friends. He lives up in Canada, and I'm here in the Pacific Northwest. And we've traded parts off and on now for several years. And of course, Keystone is his passion. He he's helped me immensely with this one. But I did get the motor free. I found a website online that dealt with outdoor landscape equipment. And Tanaka is still in business. They make weed whackers, hedge trimmers, you know, various small powered implements for the garden use. And but the neat thing was they had a set of parts diagrams for all the different products they've ever made. And they had a diagram for this TAS BK3 motor, this rickshaw motor. But they had very, very few parts for it. I think they had some machine screws and nuts and things. They didn't have any parts that I needed, like a piston and rings. But what they had were reference numbers to other machines that they had made. And one of which was a portable generator that used the same engine, but minus the clutch assembly. So the top end, which is pretty much what I needed, I clicked on that reference number. It took me over to this little portable generator, and sure enough, they had the piston, rings, wrist pin, all that stuff listed there. So I ordered those, and in the meantime, I soaked this one with Croil for about 2 weeks, and then, of course, the head came off easily. And I began to beat the piston out of it with a block of wood and a hammer, big mallet. And the piston started to move, which allowed me to then turn the crankshaft and lift the block off the case. I stuck wood underneath it to support it, and I just kept pounding on that thing. And so all the pressure was going into the cylinder, not down onto the case so much. The piston finally did come out, and it was ruined. The rings were completely collapsed and rusted, frozen shut. I tried to remove them. They just would snap or they wouldn't come out at all. And so luckily I had the brand new piston and rings coming. Was able to hone the cylinder and put that back together. It has really good compression. After that, I took the clutch case apart, and inside is a single disc, rather large diameter clutch. The friction surfaces were relatively clean. The friction material was a little worn on the inside, but it had a matching surface on the backside, so I flipped it. And it has good grip. It works well. I was able to get a new carburetor and air filter from my friend up in Canada. Purchased that from him. But you can see I'm missing the kickstand, which would mount to that little tab, and the chain guard. So anyway, it's a really rare little mini bike. It was made by the Keystone Racing Wheel Company up in Canada. And as I mentioned, a lot of different manufacturers were making bikes. I mean, you could buy stuff from Montgomery Ward, Sears, J.C. Penney, and like this HPE Muskin Cat 250X. It was made by a swimming pool parts company, and but they weren't destined to survive against the big manufacturers like Honda. This is an original 1970 Honda QA50. Really nice little bike. They were known for skipping gears, but this one doesn't do it. It's got very, very low miles, and I've gone through the transmission and replaced a couple springs, so that should never happen. But here today, we're just looking at this Keystone. Rather rare little mini bike. Keystone 6500 gravel spitter or gravel shooter. I don't know what they called it, but you could imagine a 12-year-old on this thing revving it to the moon and then dropping the clutch and letting that little rear wheel kick up a rooster tail. They're quite fast too. I think these things would go 35, 40 miles an hour at top end. But yeah, really interesting. A lot of fun, but very unsupported, very, very hard to find parts. It's probably more something I'll look at and not ride. It has good spark, good compression. I had to go through the magneto on it, and that was quite interesting, pulling the flywheel off, because once it let go, it flew clear across the shop. But inside, I was able to clean everything up and get a nice hot spark out of it. It does run well, but again, you break it, you're kind of stuck. Unlike these, simple mini bikes or even these well-supported factory bikes, this sort of thing has been gone for 55 years now, and good luck finding anything for these other than maybe a wheel here or a handlebar there or something like that. But anyway, just wanted to share this one with you. It's kind of weird, kind of fun. I do enjoy mini bikes. I've collected several over the years. I have a 69 Taco 44 back around behind the shop, and I've got these Honda Z50s, all hardtails. And up on top is another QA50. And believe it or not, I built that QA50 all from parts. I mean, it was unbelievable. It was back years ago when these were things where all this stuff was cheap and nobody wanted these. I actually found the frame and fork on eBay, no reserve, starting bid 25 cents. So I bid 25 cents and I won. And the shipping was $20. So here I had a frame, you know, and after a while I found wheels, I found a motor, you know. I mean, that's a put together bike, but it actually looks a lot better than the red one, I think. But these Z50s, I have every hardtail year. The 68 here, I've got I think that's a 1970, that's a 71, that's a 70. The red one up there is a 69, which has been modified. It carries a battery, and it's got a CT70 engine in it. It's a little wheelie machine, kind of fun. They're not painted correctly. I mean, they're close, but the 68 is probably the one I got the closest to. It's all correct. They all have the correct year, motor, and frame. So these motors would have been found in these frames. They never matched, but I've run the numbers, and they've all got their correct vintage motors in them. They all run great. But these were the kind of things that poor old Keystone was trying to compete with. A small company, a racing wheel company in Canada, trying to compete with all the other brands that were coming out in the world. So anyway, that's it. I thought you'd find this little bike interesting. It's certainly very strange. A mini bike with a rickshaw motor in it. That's it for now. Thanks again. We'll see you again soon. Bye.